I was one of only 16 fluent Arabic speakers at the CIA at the time. I had worked years earlier for the deputy director of the Counterterrorism Center, so I considered him to be a friend. I went into his office and I made a bold and completely empty threat. And I said, if you don't send me to Afghanistan right now, I am going straight to Exxon with my Arabic and I'm not looking back. And he says, take it easy, take it easy. Can you go to Pakistan? And I said, yes. When? He said, tomorrow. I said, yes. What do you want me to do there? He said, I want you to be the chief of counterterrorism operations. I said, fine. And so I left the next day. And then finally, 6 weeks later, we get word from a sister agency in the Washington suburbs that Abu Zubaydah, who we believed at the time was the number 3 in Al-Qaeda, was somewhere in Pakistan, and we had to catch him. That was all we knew. He was somewhere in Pakistan. And I said, in our morning meeting, I said, this country is the size of Texas. It has 220 million people in it. What do you mean he's in Pakistan? Go catch him. But we came up with a plan, and we caught him. He was shot 3 times and severely wounded. So I sat with Abu Zubaydah for 56 hours after we shot him. The Pakistani doctors there saved his life, pumping blood into him as quickly as they could. It was just oozing out of him, pooling underneath the bed. He was soaked in blood. We were soaked in blood. It was like a scene out of a horror movie. But he lived. And then finally he asked me, what's going to happen to me? And I said, honestly, I don't know. But I'm going to give you some advice. I said, I am the nicest guy that you're going to meet in this experience. My colleagues, they're not nice like I am. So if you do one thing, it's that you have to cooperate. And he said, you seem like a nice man, but you're the enemy, and I'll never cooperate. Finally, a CIA jet flew in, and 3 FBI agents and I picked up his gurney and carried him out to the plane. He was crying. He asked if I would hold his hand, which I did. We had to maneuver him. We had to stand him up on the gurney. He was strapped down. We had to maneuver him onto the plane. We laid him on the luggage rack at the back of the plane and tied him down. And he squeezed my hand and I said, remember, you have to cooperate. And then he flew off.